hello. Thanks for tuning in and welcome to the pool party. I hope you can swim because we're definitely diving into the deep end with a huge splash of truth, facts, evidence, information, and proof. Swim. Say what you mean. It's talk about talking. How we listen, how we hear, how we speak, how we hear what we're listening to when we speak, how a listener hears what we're saying, if what we're saying, what they're actually hearing and or understanding. Is it clear? Swim. Say what you mean. Well, that's just the beginning of understanding, because after we get that understanding, how do we accept it? How we respond if it's not what we expect is paramount. Are you okay with the truth? Are you man, woman, human, or spiritual enough to accept the truth? Let's find out.
Let's do it.
Welcome to The Swimming Pool with your host, Travis Bridges.
Bam! Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to SWIM. S-W-Y-M. That is the acronym for Say What You Mean. I am definitely hoping that you are saying what you mean. It's very important. I can't be the only one who actually thinks, says, or actually believes that, because if you don't say it, think it, or believe it, at some point in time you will find yourself in a place where either you wish you would have said what you meant, or you wish someone would have meant what they said, because clear communication is very important. In my culture, I'll say, we will say, if you can you can hear. Sometimes if you're talking, somebody will say, and that's because they want to make sure they understand what they are hearing, what you're saying, what they are interpreting. And it's just a big thing for me. I don't know if it's because of my communication background or all the trouble or misunderstandings that I may have found myself involved in, to where I just want to be clear moving forward. So the spirit of clarity just came on me around, COVID time, and that's how SWIM was created. I do have a guest. I'm going to talk about something important. I'm going to talk about relationships. My guest is maybe into politics. I don't know, but I might give my guest the opportunity to talk about what is on their mind. But I specifically want to talk about roles and relationships. Maybe I'll change the description and put it in there. Relationships doesn't necessarily have to be, couples, romantic, just relationships in general. But I'm going to specifically zero in on relationships in terms of couples, romance. So it's going to be interesting, as our monk just said. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. My guest is standing by, and I hope they're going to be ready when I do call. So that's my soft introduction. And before I get into it, I am in travel mode. I'm sitting outside in a public place. Don't ask me where I am. Maybe you can see by the signage around me. You can figure it out. If you do, if you're being nosy, then so be it. If not, I'm traveling. I've got a lot of things going on. I just announced a special that I'm going to do in my hometown. I'm going to the LBG, and I was discussing it with a few people, prior to doing it. It was laid on my heart to go, and now that it's in place, I don't have a lot of time to market or promote it. I just believe in my heart that who's meant to be there will be there, and it's not a show, it's not performance, it's nothing like that. It's just an opportunity for me to present my gifts, skills, and talent in the form that, I want to, of course, allow the original creator of all things who lives within me to be expressed through what it is that I do. I left my hometown many years ago, and I return periodically, for different things. And I've never done an event like this, and this is considered on a small level, but the Bible says, despise not small beginnings. Perhaps I can make this happen, regularly or more often, maybe annually, who knows. But with that being said, I am going home, and I will be doing an event. You can check out my social media. It'll give you more information. I'm a little nervous, but also excited about what I believe God is going to do through me through this event. With that being said, I'm going to take some deep breaths and I'm going to get my guest on the phone, and I only pray to God that they are waiting and are ready and that we can hear them clearly. So stand by. Come on, phone, ring. Does any... Oh man, it's low.
Hey,
Hey man, how you feeling?
good. How you doing?
Good. I am hoping that you can be heard. I just did a soft intro and I told you the time we were going to use. I'm looking at my clock now. That timer is going to start in about 90 more seconds. But how are you this morning?
Oh, good. All is well. So no complaints.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
With that being said, what I want to talk about, first of all, if you want to do anything in particular, by all means do it, because I know you have heavy influence on what it is that you say. Particularly as I'm hearing some rattling in the background.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Okay, no worries. As he waits and rattles, I will rock and roll. You get it?
Is that,
Roll.
can you hear me better?
I'm hoping, but I'm hearing some moving around more than you. It's like rattling or papers or just commotion.
Yeah, no, it's not, I'm not doing anything, actually. I'm just sitting here. I'm just trying to figure out. I thought the background noise was on your side, but I'm putting headphones I'm using right now.
Okay, let's just try to go with it. So,
Okay.
do you want to? Well, no, I'll go first, and then we'll do a little politics just before we go. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
What I want to talk about is roles in relationships. I know you. I know your wife. You are a wonderful family. I love you like family, and I wouldn't take anything less than $100 billion for each of you. And I know that relationships are sentimental to me, especially in this season in my life. And I have a few questions, but I want you to elaborate as much as you can. First of all,
Okay.
let me ask you some basic questions. Are you still in love?
Absolutely.
Do you believe
More so today than I was before.
Oh, that's good. And let me ask you this. Have you had any problems at all since you said I do?
Well, yes, we have, and I believe that no matter who is going to be involved, you're going to have problems. The good part with my wife and I is that we went through a lot of the speed bumps and obstacles before we got married.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were together for 9 years before we got married.
Okay. Okay, so what? In other words, your relationship has not just been smooth sailing, just happy moments all day, butterflies and unicorns. You've had a few rough spots that you obviously made it through.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's my question. Well, congratulations on that. I will speak for myself for a moment. Until recently, I have been 100% single legally for almost 20 years. And recently, I've tapped into the idea of trying it again. And in the efforts to try it again, it's just been scary. And after analyzing it, it has just been a lot of fear that I am now trying to get past. So that's just my situation. But I want to ask you something in particular about roles. There obviously is a difference between a man and a woman. Are there roles in a lifetime partnership / relationship? Yes or no?
Well, I would have to answer that as just my own individual experience, obviously. And for me, having dated and been with other women, each relationship had different roles for both people in the relationship. So I think whoever you're going to be with, the roles, sometimes they happen organically, and sometimes they're communicated more in the structure of the relationship. I was in a relationship in which I may have married this other woman, and the roles there were traditional, very traditional, meaning that I was the major breadwinner. She took care of the house. She would look to me for all major decisions. It was, that type of relationship. Now, the relationship I have with my wife is nothing like that. We don't have any traditional roles. We're a team. And, the funny thing is that I am obsessively clean about my gym. And she is obsessively clean about the house. So that organically took care of itself. You see? So those type of things. I think everyone has to, whomever they're with, will have to define those roles of what they see each other doing and supporting, respecting, etc.
Okay. Now, we're talking about roles, and that's good, and thanks for sharing that. I have a clear image of what it's like in terms of what you just explained. I want to talk about needs. We're talking about roles, and we're going to jump to needs in regards to men being men, women being different. About being men being men, women being women.
I got you. Right.
And I listen to lots of podcasts, and I get a lot of different information from a lot of different people. We have different needs. Supposedly, women need love and flowers and candy and perfume and romance. However, men need a certain level of respect and responsibility. Can you expound on that as it relates to your relationship? Respect and love. Is there a difference in how?
Well, respect and love. I would say that when you have respect of the person that you are with, that is a form of love. I think that love has many words that fall under the umbrella of love, because if you don't respect that person in every way, shape, or form, how could you possibly love them, is my thing. So for me, again, I have always been kind of outside of traditional male thinking. And what I mean by that is that when growing up, even like in my teenage years, if there was a party and, going from conversation to conversation, not a dance party, but a party where people got together, drank, maybe smoked a little cannabis and just talking.
Mm-hmm.
I always found myself talking with the girls. I never found myself talking with the guys, mm-hmm. because the guys' conversation was so limited. It was sports and sex. That was it. That's all they had on their mind. Now, I'm not saying,
Guilty.
that's always the way, but that's what it was. That was my experience.
Sure.
And I was like, so I went to talk with the girls because the girls expounded on other lively conversational things. And I think as people grow up, a lot of, as we've all heard, men don't need a lot of these things that women do. And it's true. The male psyche or the male DNA really is very, I think, is very simple on what men need. I believe women, as you said, need more, let's say, attention, affirmation of things that are okay. That was, as a matter of fact, that was a rocky point in my own relationship with my present wife now, is that she said that I did not affirm to her enough that I love her. And so I was like, well, what do you mean? I was completely lost because in my mind, I was thinking that I was doing that by just being with her, by carrying on the relationship.
And not only just being with her, hold on, let me jump in.
Yeah.
When you make that ultimate commitment to be exclusive with her, does that not speak massive volumes?
Well, yeah, and that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what you thought.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, and that's why I was okay. Look, let me give you a little background.
Okay.
Okay, look, I grew up as a player. Okay.
Amen.
I was an athlete all of my life, and I learned how to be a player from the older athletes that taught me. So monogamy was not part of the athlete life in my experience.
Absolutely.
So that, just, and that was the way from high school through college to my brief professional career. I was a player, multiple women throughout. Okay. And then, but here's the thing, I always told the truth. So the point is, in being a player, there was the first string girl. The first string girl knew the rules. And the rules were, you are number one, you're first string. But there's a second, third string out there. I'm not going to disrespect you with them, but you need to know they're out there. Okay? And the second and third string girls also knew that they were second or third string, and the only one that gets to be able to be called my girlfriend was the first string girl.
Now, before we hold on, I need to make a clarification before you go. Hold your thought. We're talking about the old you. We're not talking about the married you. Of course.
Yes, I'm giving you background on where I'm coming from. Yes.
Okay, proceed.
So that was the way for me. And then after I stopped playing professional sports, I put all that pretty much away. And I'll tell you why. Because it was expensive. Okay? It's expensive when you're carrying on multiple relationships with multiple people. Mm-hmm. So after that, I started to, get into monogamous relationships. If I got with a girlfriend and she made the cut to be a girlfriend, then I was just with that woman. So that was like the second part of my relationship life. So I started to learn because I had to learn how to be in one relationship with someone. I did not know how. It was not part of my life up until I became like 28, 29 years old.
And which is the point. I want to make a point about when you said she didn't think you affirmed enough. When we give up those streets and we actually say out of our mouth, I'm with you, I'm exclusive with you, and you just said the key word, you got to tell the truth. You always tell the truth. When you're honest and you're sincere and you say, I'm exclusive and I'm with you, I can't think of any more affirmations than that. But again, for some reason, it doesn't translate. So we obviously have to do a little more in that role to affirm that, because that speaks massive volumes, as I said earlier.
Well, I think it goes back to the female growing up period. Females are, they grow up with Barbie dolls or dolls of some sort, and they watch the princess movies. They're indoctrinated mentally that, there is a knight in shining armor that will, fawn on them all the time and tell them how much they love them. And I think that, gets into females' minds to the point where they're kind of looking for that in their lives. And if there was times in which I was with my then girlfriend, not my wife, because remember, we dated, we were together for 9 years before we got married, but there was times when we were together, at that time, And every time, it was like every, I don't know, 3-4 months, something would come out of left field in which I was completely unaware of that I was doing wrong. And when we got down to the nitty gritty, it was just, I'm not affirming enough. I'm not kind of letting her know that she's pretty and letting her know that she's desired, all of that.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I want to, for the sake of time, if you have more time, fine. I'm going to keep us on time, and I know exactly where we are. I want to talk specifically about this love and respect thing. What happens if you don't find the way, whatever that magic is, to affirm that? Because I know it speaks volume. If you've made the exclusive commitment and you're there, that goes without saying. But if for whatever reason you miss that boat a few times and she begins to feel that avoidance a little too long, obviously we know what could happen. But let's talk about you. Do you feel like you are a man that needs this thing called respect in the capacity that we're talking about? Because when a man is disrespected in some kind of way, it does something to our psyche. Are you the opposite of what they need in terms of that affirmation? Do you feel that you must have a certain level of respect to remain in your union?
Oh, okay. So let me say this. No, I am not the type of person or man that needs to hear from the person I'm with.
No, hold on. Not hear it.
Okay.
Not hear
Okay.
it. 'Cause you don't have to hear it. We don't need to hear it. I'm
Okay.
talking about the respect that's due to us. Come on. I don't want to, because of time, I don't want to have to go through it. There are certain things that we know we need that we're just not going to tolerate, and I'm just saying as it relates to, because we know that they need that affirmation of love. So the two factors here are love and respect. They need that, we need the other one. So where do you stand in terms of no-brainers, no deals of a certain level of, decency and respect that's necessary? Because I'm generally speaking.
Okay, well, I'm trying to, if you could elaborate a little bit to help me with the question, because when you say
Okay,
that,
gladly.
yeah.
Okay, so your wife, if she wakes up one morning and you say, "Hey, babe," whatever, you say something, and she says, "Shut up. I'll do it when I'm ready."
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Let me just say this. I can only answer on my personal experience and what's, in my past and present. And I don't even know where to begin. We don't talk like that to each other.
I
ever.
know, because you probably wouldn't tolerate it. And I did not want to get into the fullness. I'm just saying there's a certain level of respect from a man's perspective that's necessary.
Well, it sounds like, if either party starts off with "shut up," if that's an argument, they're in an argument. Those people. That's something.
Well,
right?
I just used that as an example. What I'm saying
Okay.
is, from a male's perspective. Okay, let me give you another example. Maybe this will help.
Yeah, help me out.
Okay, let's just say some guy. Oh no, this is gonna. Okay, I've got to be careful. Let's just find any level of respect that's just not acceptable. That's a deal breaker for you. Generally speaking, there's a certain level of respect and honor that's due.
Okay. Right. I agree with you that respect is due. I'm just trying to rack my brain to give you an example of this that has happened, that would, or that I would think would be a deal breaker, or that should not be a red line that should not be crossed. And okay. I just can't think of anything unless, like I said, in argument mode. I mean, it sounds like that's something that comes because the respect comes as you are, I think, going through the day-to-day grind of being with each other and working and sharing your lives together. So, I mean, there might be something that comes up and you have to communicate to that person, don't ever do that again. That is not happening.
Okay.
You know, that type of thing. But those things, I'll give you a perfect example. A lot of my friends are always amazed at how much leeway from their perspective, that I give Beth, that I give my wife, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, you know, you allow her, I mean, she will argue with people out in public, and you do nothing. You don't do anything. And I'm like, well, we have an agreement. You know, there's an agreement that and this has been communicated, because in public, you know, people may say things to Beth, and I'm not around immediately, but then I may come over, you know, be there. And so the agreement is this: I am there, and I don't know if you've ever saw the movie 300. But if you saw that movie, towards the beginning of the movie, the messenger comes to Leonidas, King Leonidas, and delivers a message, and he says that, you know, Xerxes is coming, and he wants Sparta also to be under the umbrella. Well, at some point while they're talking, the messenger says to the woman, be respectful, the men are talking here. Right? And so at some point, they're standing by the big pit, and King Leonidas looks back at his wife, and his wife gives him the nod. And after that nod, he kicks that man into the bottomless pit. Right? And so we have this agreement. If she's somewhere, we're somewhere, and there's an issue, she will just turn to me and give me the nod. And after that happens, God help the other person. It's over. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of body language and things that we have already implemented into our lifestyle, that a lot of that doesn't need to be said. It's just a nod, a look. Okay. That we understand, and I don't know, as far as respect towards me, you know, I can't even think of something that I mean, many years ago, I think I really can't think of anything in which I've had to lay the gauntlet down, so to speak, on respect towards me.
And that's good. And I guess that's why maybe it's a non-factor for you. It's just one of those things that I wanted to discuss, because I guess I'm kind of big on that. I want to be, you know, in the right role, whatever that means. And right. I just want to play my part. It's been a long time for me, and I'm kind of teetering around the idea of entertaining that and actually getting into it. So I wanted to hear from someone who has experienced it, and I appreciate you sharing me that. It's not, I guess, a really big deal, but I think it does have some significance in terms of the needs, certain things that women need. She needs to be affirmed. We need to feel like, okay, we're respected to a certain degree. So thanks for that, and we'll close on that for the sake of time. But I do want to teeter on a little politics. I know that's your thing. Because of the algorithms, I haven't seen a lot of your stuff lately. So we're going to close the relationship thing. Congratulations. Please extend my love to your wife. I love you both like family, and hopefully we can get together and hang out again sometime. So congratulations, and wish me well as I move on, because
yes, definitely. I mean, look, it's a difficult thing to jump into a relation or try to find and start a relationship if you have not been used to that for multiple years. Trust me, I get it. It's going to, you know, it's difficult.
That's where I am, and I just needed another brother who could expound on it a little bit, if nothing else, but to wish me well and send some good energy in my direction as I start this journey. So with that being
All
said,
right.
let's
Yes.
move on to some politics. And real quick, and we have less than 8 minutes to go before I have to honor my word and let you get on, and I have to go also too.
Okay.
Okay, so the last thing you said was about your good friend DJT and the comments made by the leader of a South American country that I am very familiar with, Petro. What are your
Right.
thoughts about that exchange of words?
Well, let me just say it doesn't surprise me. The former person, happens to be the president of the United States right now, makes comments like this all the time. So it's not surprising. I think it's, crass. And I think that, this whole episode of the United States wanting to go after the drug supplier is a flawed plan. Whether it's this South American country or this where drugs are coming from. Because I have never heard of trying to stop people from taking drugs by going after the supplier. You have to stop the people wanting to take the drugs. Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me jump in on that real quick.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be the supplier, because if you can be the supplier and control the flow of income that comes from that addiction, you're in a different place. If you're not reaping the benefits of that dysfunction, then maybe that's an issue. So the only thing I can think of in my little ability to reason is that if you're going to go after the supplier, because you can't stop the demand.
Right.
I mean, if you're not stopping the demand, or maybe, I don't get it. Why would you go after the supplier unless you either want to be in cahoots or to replace it? That's just me thinking.
Well, no, hey, you got a valid point. I mean, look, Big Pharma, the pharmaceutical companies are very happy to dispense drugs, all the drugs people need to feel nothing in this nation. But if the illegal drug market, interferes with them, well then, that is, let's get rid of the illegal cartels selling it, because they're taking part of our market share from the legal cartels. That could be very well. He could be helping out, pharmaceutical industry. I don't, but to me, it seems like this. The policy to destroy the supplier was already tried with prohibition, and we see how well that went. Okay. We saw how well that went. It didn't go well at all.
No.
Because it's never a successful plan. You have to educate and have people not have the high demand for the drugs. That's where you put the money. You don't go blowing up things. You take all that money that took the millions to build up the bombs and the planes into education, and you curb the demand that way. But my personal view, if I can just dive in for a second, is that I think it's all a fool's errand, and I think that all drugs should be legalized and standardized.
Woo! I remember you saying that years ago, and I shook my head, and until time passed and I could see it. But all drugs?
Well, okay, let me back up. The black box drugs like fentanyl, no. Okay? Fentanyl kills people. We know that. Because there's no benefit to standardizing fentanyl for general use. However, cocaine on down. Cocaine, ecstasy, cannabis, alcohol, all these drugs, have at it. There's absolutely...
What about heroin?
Heroin. The derivatives of heroin could be thrown in there also. Okay, because here's my point. If you legalize and standardize all of these drugs, what is the worst that's going to happen? You will have drug addicts, okay? So the infrastructure for drug addiction throughout the world is in place. So they get more customers, but the thing that what's better is that the drugs no longer become taboo. And once you remove the taboo from these drugs and people are able to try them legally, they will find out that there's always going to be a percentage. There's always the 10% when it comes to humanity, right? In business school, you learn about the 10% of loss. If you open a retail store, you have to add in 10% for shoplifting and stealing from the employees. If you go to the stock market, there's 10% of the money that you're always going to lose every year. No matter what it is, there's always that 10%. So if you make drugs legal, there's going to be 10% of the people that become addicts. And then there is a nice drug addiction recoveries and infrastructure to deal with those drug addicts. The other 90% are probably going to try it 2-3 times in their life, or they may become casual users, but it's no problem. No problem at all. They can enjoy their drugs, and no one is going around chopping off people's heads and firebombing buildings. Instead, it's legalized, standardized, taxed, and that's a lot of money that can be taxed. We can see just from cannabis, okay? Colorado is the premier state for cannabis. And right now, in Colorado, they are about to move to every citizen of Colorado will have free education from K through 4-year colleges.
Wow.
From the cannabis tax.
Incredibly.
Okay, so for me, I'm like down with all the make them all legal. Make them all legal.
Okay.
And because cannabis again, Colorado and now other states are making it legal, and what has happened? Has there been a bunch of, whacked out cannabis people jumping off buildings or doing anything stupid? No. Because I don't know about you, but if I'm high on cannabis, I'm one of the safest fucking drivers out. Oh, excuse my language. I'm one of the safest drivers out there because I'm so paranoid.
Right.
I'm driving like 35 miles an hour.
Right.
Right. So
Just don't do that on the internet. Not the internet, but the interstate.
Oh yeah, no.
You can't drive 35
now I don't do that any longer. I don't get high because I can't get high and drive. Now there's a lot of people, and the studies have shown this. There's a lot of people that perform better when they're high. This is why Ricky Williams used to like to smoke cannabis. Okay, before they kicked him out of NFL. There's a lot of people that can perform better athletically with hand-eye coordination.
I'm not one of them.
I'm not one of them either. I am definitely not one of them. No. But they are there. Like my wife. My wife, if we were somewhere and the people we went to visit had cannabis and we smoked, she's driving home. I'm not driving home. Mm-hmm. She is, because she can drive with no problems. I can't do it.
Okay. With that being said, and considering the time, I thought we'd be able to get into some more. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. We go way back like Cadillac, and thank you for answering my calls and being there for me, not just when I want to do an interview,
sure.
but when I call you for fitness and health information. I appreciate it always. By the way, speaking of fitness and health, man, I'm in the best shape of my life, and I do not go to the gym, do a walk or run without hearing you inside my head in some capacity. So for that alone, man, you can never do any wrong. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you for this time, and thank you for time in the future. And hopefully we can get together and sit down and fellowship sometime in the very near future.
Sure, and I'm glad to hear that you're in the best shape of your life, and I'm also glad to hear that just being in that mind, keeping up the mind over matter. To contribute that, and thank you for that, because that makes it all worthwhile for me.
Absolutely. I will definitely be in touch. I'm going to let you go, and we'll chat very soon.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
10-4.
See you, Scott.
Uh-huh. There you have it, another one, just like the other one, and I did pretty good with my time. We talked about the roles in relationships, and it's one of those things that I don't worry about because I serve a living God, and I'm not religious at all. Go figure. And I believe when you mean well and you are consistent and persistent with anything you do, including meaning well, good will always come back to you. I believe in karma. I also believe in forgiving. And I also believe in the power of when you know better, you can do better. Get knowledge, get information, listen, hear, pay attention. Allow yourself to either be influenced, persuaded, or convinced in some capacity. You can't do that unless you're listening. If you are, persuaded in some kind of way, let it be a positive way. But always open your mind, always pay attention, always listen, because we can always learn. We're not so smart that we can't learn and grow. Thank you for Sandra. Thank you for our monk. Thank you for any and everybody else that are listening, that is or are listening, and that will listen. Thank you for allowing me to have these therapy sessions. They really do matter. And in closing, I've got my LBG concert coming up. It's called the Reunion Communion. And that's going to be in Laurinburg very soon, as well as my sixth gig on the 6th got canceled, and that's okay. It just opens the door for many other things. I've got my last leg of the fall festival happening in just a few minutes, so I'm getting ready to go to my last of 6 gigs right now today, and I'm just excited about all the wonderful things that are ahead for me. With that being said, I ain't gonna hold you too long. I heard a preacher say one time, I'm gonna do something that the devil won't do. I'm gonna let y'all go. And on that note, find someone. You need to say whatever you need to say to them. Say it, mean it, let it be true. And just try to be a good person. Think before you speak. Think about what happens, how it happens. Use your brain, okay? All right, ciao. Have a good day. I'll see you when I see you.
SWYM. Swim. Say what you mean. As much as this information is designed to bring awareness to how we listen, hear, and process, it is also a form of therapy. The little person inside of all of us needs to be heard. As adults, even listening to ourselves is a form of healing, strengthening, and growth. It's okay to speak, talk, express yourself, and be heard, even if you're the only listener. If our testimony does anything at all for anyone else, that makes the continued effort worth the time. Get the words out. You'll feel better, and that's a promise. Thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it.
You know, sometimes it seems like all the good times are gone, but you got to keep on searching. You got to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. For example, take me, standing right here today. I would not be here with you if I believed the things that the people say. You got to keep on searching. Keep on